Welcome to my new channel, Miss Tynetta's Room, and this is going to be the first of a series of short videos. This collection is geared toward teachers, and I hope that they can be used as a resource for anybody in education. And the reason why I'm putting this together is because sometimes, really, the only people that we have for support is each other. This is a tough job. I mean, we do what we do, and we support each other in many various ways, and I hope that this is one of them. Before we go ahead and get started, here is my disclaimer. I'm going to go ahead and read it. The viewpoints and opinions expressed in this presentation are from my own personal professional, experiences. They are not necessarily representative of any school, organization, school system, or district, or any school official. So, in other words, it's coming from my own teacher adventures. I also want to put out another disclaimer that's not printed is this because I am not a native to the tech world. My first videos are going to start off very simple, straightforward, no chaser, and they will improve in time. So let's go ahead and get started. So now that the legals are out of the way, I want to share some of my credentials with you so that you can know that I don't know, what's the word? Legit. Okay. A lot of times when people make these types of videos, they really haven't been in the trenches. They really have not done what they're advising on. So I just want you to know that I am an actual teacher. So here we go. All right. I earned my first degree, my Bachelor of Science in Education, at Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. I earned the master's degree at the University of South Alabama. I am certified to teach K through 6 all subjects, elementary ed. I am also certified to teach history 6 through 12 and special education pre-K through 12 gifted and talented. This will mark my 30th year in teaching, and I am currently teaching World History 8 honors and African American history. So I am actually doing it, and so I hope that you can glean from my experiences. Now, I only have 5 tips that I want to throw at you. I want this first video rather to be short. There will be more videos to come, so just like, subscribe, and share. And I hope that you will be able to get some pearls from this particular presentation. All right, first survival tip. Number one, first year teacher, please give yourself some grace. There are many varied and unusual things that you are not going to learn in the college classroom. This is truly an on the job training situation. You're going to run into many different situations that, this wasn't in the book. So, there that is. If you think that this year, your first year, is going to be picture perfect, I'm going to go ahead and tell you it is not. You are going to make some mistakes. Your first year is always going to be challenging because you're trying to find your feet. So you are going to make some mistakes along the way. But turn those mistakes into learning opportunities. For example, many school districts do have professional development activities that teachers can go to so that they can learn more about their content area, whether it is, math, science, reading, or what have you. They also have other professional development activities to where you can focus in on your classroom management. More on that a little bit later. And do this with yourself. If you try to do this with your students, do this with yourself. Start with a clean slate every day. All your days are not going to be picture perfect. All right. So, again, give yourself some grace. This is your first year. You're not going to get it perfect every single day. All right. So, survival tip number 2, respect all of your coworkers, especially the staff. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'll go ahead and define faculty and staff, the distinction between the two. Faculty, basically principals and teachers. The staff, the ladies in the office, the custodial, building management, maintenance, cafeteria workers, that type of thing. All right. Everybody, every adult, I should say, that works in the building is your coworker. Respect each and every one of them. Be nice to the keeper of the keys. You never know when you might need them to open up your room or open up the building because you forgot something or what have you. I have seen this go all the way left. Okay? It is not pretty at all. So be respectful. Both groups are complements to each other because both groups are there for the benefit of the students. All right? Neither is better than the other. And unless your coworker says, "Oh, you can call me this, that, and the other," always use Mr., Mrs., Miss, that kind of thing. All right, and never use your coworker's first name in front of students. The reason why is because it does give the impression that students can be that familiar with the adults in the building as well. So there that is. Respect all of your coworkers. Okay, tip number 3, don't sleep on old school. And when I say old school, I'm talking about your veteran teachers like myself. I mean, I got to throw myself on the pile. Um, a lot of times, admin will give a first year teacher a mentor teacher or two. If that has not happened for you, then you gather your wagons, get some mentor teachers, in your building, perhaps on your grade level, perhaps in your department. And if they offer you advice, if they offer you suggestions and things like that, please be open to accepting them. If they offer you supplies, accept them. A lot of times, first year teachers do not have a whole lot of money to spend in their classroom, and that's going to be another segment in a series of video in terms of setting up your room. Um, accept what they offer you, all right? Observe other teachers and their instructional style. You are on the path of trying to get your educator groove. What's going to work the best for you? And I wish that I could tell you that you're going to develop it in the first year. Some do. And some, it takes a couple of school years to finally, develop, okay, this is what's going to work best for me in terms of instructional delivery. All right. Don't be afraid to invite admin into your room. They're going to be in there anyway. You're first year. All right. You may as well make it welcoming for them. Maybe have a special chair in the room for them to sit so that they can observe everybody and ask them for advice. As in, well, what do you think about this, that, and the other? Don't be afraid. Make your admin your ally. Most admin are not there to have gotcha moments, okay? They're there for support. They want you to be at your best, all right? So don't be afraid of that. And be open to constructive criticism. You can't grow until you know what needs work, all right? If you're always told what you're doing right as opposed to what you need to improve on, then you don't grow as a teacher. So be open to that. And of course, ask for help. Don't be afraid to do that. Ask for help. So that's teacher tip number 3. Teacher tip number 4. Now, this is going to sound a little funny, but I'm going to throw this out there. If you're first year, your main goal, at first anyway, is your classroom management, not your content area, believe it or not. And this is why. If you don't have structure in your classroom, then your content area is not going to matter. You're not going to be able to deliver it. If there's all kinds of chaos and carrying on and wahala, in your room, then what you studied for, you can't deliver it. So I would suggest that you have your classroom rules, procedures, rewards, consequences in place before the first day of school. Now, there are some people who would say, why don't you invite the students to help you make rules so that the classroom so that they can take some ownership of the classroom? Um, I have to vehemently disagree with that, especially if you are a first year. I think that they need to know how you are going to run your room. And that's just one less thing for you to deal with. Uh, yeah, have those things in place. One other thing, make sure that your rules and procedures, make sure that they are similar to what the school or the school district has in place, all right? You don't want to, you don't want to diverge too much, okay? Now, some of your procedures are going to be specific. So you have rules are general. Rules are just an overview. Procedures are specifics, things that you want the students to do on a day-to-day basis. So you need to teach your students the routines. Excuse me, I had a little bit of a burp in my chest. Teach your students routines. If you have a procedure for sharpening pencils, they need to know that. If you have a procedure for getting up with or without your permission to throw something away, they need to know that. It is better to, quote unquote, waste the first week or two of school teaching your routines. That way, your kids already know what is expected of them. If you go ahead and do that on the front end of the school year, then you have the rest of the year to teach your content area. All right? So do that. Also, I can't stress this enough. Be consistent. And please do not put down something that you can't follow through with. All right? Please don't. Because if you do not follow through with what you said you were going to do, then your students will not believe you. And then they'll be like, oh, she's just full of air. She's not going to do this, that, and the other. No, be prepared to follow through. If you say it, do it. So make sure that whatever you say, you can do. Stay within your school system's policies and procedures. And of course, always, always, always ask for help. That could be your neighbor, that could be your admin, or what have you. All right, so that's survival tip number 4. Survival tip number 5. Please, please, please do your best to leave your work at work, ma'am and sir. All right, if you don't, and you end up bringing home your papers and things like that from Monday through Friday, working through the weekend and stuff like that, you will burn out. And once you burn out, you will not be any good to yourself, your family, and the teachers. I'm sorry, and the students. You won't be any good to anybody. So, one way you can try to leave your work at work is by perhaps, if possible, arriving to campus maybe an hour before the day starts, just to kind of get your head right, maybe to do some teacher housekeeping duties, what have you. Okay? And if that's not possible, perhaps you can stay an hour after the school day is over to go ahead and take care of that. It just depends on what your schedule is. All right. Work through your planning period or what have you, but do your best to leave work at work. Responding and sending emails and making phone calls, please do that while you are on campus. Try not to answer or make phone calls once you leave campus. The reason why is because you do not want to appear to be available to your parents and your students 24/7. All right? You're not. You got to cut it off at some point. There has to be a separation between personal and professional at some point. And again, these are suggestions. I am not going to be that colleague that's going to tell you, you need to do this, that, and the other. These are all suggestions that have worked for me over the last 30 years. Um, I would strongly suggest, speaking of suggestions, that you not use your cell phone to communicate with your parents. There have been cases where the parents would blow up that teacher's cell phone on Saturdays at 11 o'clock at night. You name it, they're just blowing that teacher up. Now, and that just causes some problems. So please do not use your cell phone when it comes to communicate with your parents and your students and people like in that particular group. Now, of course, if emergencies come about, do what you got to do. But for the basic stuff, use the school phone. All right. Do your best to separate personal from professional. So there are more than 5 tips for first years, but I'm just going to leave it here. I said I was only going to be about 15 minutes, and I'm about there. So, survival tips for the first year teachers. Recap: first and foremost, give yourself grace. Respect all coworkers, especially the staff. Don't sleep on old school. Focus on your classroom management first, not your content area. And leave your work at work. All right. Thank you for this very short video. More teacher tips will be coming soon. I will address things like classroom setup. I will also address wardrobe and things of that nature. All right. Thanks. Please click like, share, and subscribe. And I hope to post some more videos soon. All right. Bye bye.